Hey, what is up guys, I'm Xteria, and in this video, we are going to cover one of the most simple yet powerful comps in the current meta, which is Twisted Fate reroll. I've seen a lot of people always fail to at least reach a top 4 with this comp due to them lacking knowledge on how to play this comp properly. And the conditions to play this comp is you need to have at least a bow drop, so you can make Winsu's Rage Blade, which is one of TF's core items. Speaking of TF, if you also have a TF drop, this might indicate to people to play this comp, but most of the time it's a bait. Unless you have TF and a bow drop, then you can force this comp 100% guaranteed. Also, the augments that could bait you as well is keep your friends close or dummy with the gun. If you don't have a bow or a Winsu's Rage Blade start, this can get you an 8th because even though this augment is very powerful for TF, if you don't have his core item, you will not win the game. For the items, for Twisted Fate, his core items to have a Winsu's Rage Blade, since he's an attack speed champion with rapid fire, this item allows him to keep casting over and over, and the items he can flex around could be like a Gunblade, or a Giant Slayer, or even a Guard Breaker. Yes, most of us know that his BIS item is double Gwinsu's Rage Blade with Hexa Gunblade, but in order to stay in the game with more healthier HP, slamming these items as well, it's fine for the most part, so you can at least guarantee a top 4, but save at least a bow to make a Gwinsu's Rage Blade. Other items you can put on TF would be like Static Shiv, since you're going to need it anyways on the board, so having TF hold Static Shiv is actually very powerful on him as well. The most powerful artifacts you can put on him is Gambler's Blade. This gives him a lot of AP and a lot of attack speed, gives you some econ. Another one would be Sniper's Focus. It's just good for flat damage overall for ranged units. And Wit's End is probably the other powerful item you can put on him because it gives him some lifesteal, so you can replace this with Hexa Gunblade, and it also gives him attack speed with some magic resist. Your main tank is going to be a Daruis, and his core is to have a Sunfire cape, mainly because having a red buff or having a Morellicon is kind of hard to put on this board, so Sunfire is probably like the best to have. And you can flex around with any tank items. The ones I like to flex is like Redemption, Protector's Vow, or Gargoyle Stoneplate. Even Warmonks is also very powerful instead of Redemption is okay. The good artifacts for Daruis is like any of the basic tank ones, like Anima Visage, Innervating Locket, or even Mogo's Mill. The main tanks you would want to play most of the time is either Darius 3, or if you don't have Darius 3 yet, you can do Braum 2 as well, or somehow if you get Braum 3, that works really well. The items you have to build no matter what on the board, because you need TF to do extra damage, would be a Static Shiv, since it reduces magic resist, and TF is a magic damage user. So this item would help you one-shot potential units. The best emblem you can also pick for this comp would be a Syndicate emblem. So when you hit level 8, you don't need to throw out Shaco, you can throw out an Aurora. Big tips I can give you guys to improve your gameplay for this comp would be, if you don't have 3 items on TF yet, you can put Static Shiv on TF. It's more worth it in the long run to do, so you can win rounds. Say for example, you have a Gwinsu's Rage Blade and a bow in a tier. Just slam that Static Shiv on TF, you will win a lot more rounds. And then just magnetic remove the Static Shiv later and put it on Kog'Maw or anyone on the board, then you can just build one of these flex items and you're good to go. The main opener you want for this comp is to have a TF with a bow or a Gwinsu's Rage Blade, since it's his core item, and a +1 tank like a Silas, or it can be a Vi, either one works. Just put the tank item on that unit because they're going to be more powerful in the long run with it. Next to that would be to have a Kog'Maw or even like a Kindred. For this opener is Kog'Maw, having a Skarner buffs up the board a lot to do extra damage. A tip I can give with this opener is, if you have Kog'Maw 2 already, just put Gwinsu's Rage Blade on Kog'Maw if you have a Skarner on the board, so you can win more rounds this way. At level 6, the board you want to play is Twisted Fate, Darius, and Braum for the Syndicate. To synergize with the board, you get Kog'Maw to get that rapid fire on TF, and Kog'Maw is also a Boombot with Skarner, so you get extra damage on the board. Skarner is also a Vanguard with Braum, and having a Gragas on the board just gives you a +1 bruiser with Darius. On top of that, he also gives Divinity Core, so you can have extra HP on the board. Another tip here is I can give that if you don't want to use Skarner, you can use Ross, that's fine as well, and you can stick to Kog'Maw 2 and then get Azeri later. That's the tip I can give you here. At level 8, the main board you want to play is all Syndicate, so it will be Misfortune and Shaco. The other person you can put the hat on is your main tank. It could be like a Darius or a Braum, whoever level 3 is at the time as your main tank. If they're not level 3, either of them, and you have MF2 with pretty decent items, just put the hat on her, so you have double DPS at the back, just one-shotting everything. The main emblem, like I said earlier, is to have the Syndicate emblem. You can put on any other tank, for example, like a Skarner, if he's level 3, it's very good on him. Or you can just throw it on Gragas, either one works. At that point, you could drop the Shaco and throw in Aurora, so you can get Dynamo with Misfortune, and on top of that, you're able to play one of these +1 units that you can grab. The other tip I can give you is, if you have Vanguard emblem instead of Syndicate, you can just drop Gragas and just play 4 Vanguards instead. It's better in the long run, and just make Braum your main tank. Or if not, you can just put the emblem on Darius, and he would just have the Vanguard emblem on him while being level 3. Now for the team builder segment, so you guys have a better visual of how to play this comp. The other openers you can do is, if you have a Kog'Maw, you can throw out a Skarner, so you can get that Boombot synergy in, and you throw out maybe, for example, like a Silas or a Vi. It doesn't really matter. As long as they're level 2, they'll be technically your main tank. because them being level 2 is better than a Skarner 1. And main tank items would be represented as Sunfire Cape. For Kog'Maw, since you're going to be playing TF later, Gunsu's Rage Blade would be represented as TF items. And you could throw in a +1 rapid fire like Kindred. This board is actually pretty powerful. You could probably win streak with it if Kog'Maw and Vi is level 2. Other openers that I can show would be like with a Jhin instead. If you can't find Kog'Maw, you have a Kindred too. Just play Kindred as the main item holder if she's level 2. And you can play whatever frontline. Like it could be like a Bastion frontline, like Jax and maybe a Poppy would work, just to sustain long enough so you can hit level 6 and roll for TF. Or another opener that I like to do personally is to have a bruiser opener with TF, which is like having TF start, and you can use Kindred or Kog'Maw, just whatever you have as rapid fire. Or maybe you don't get them at all. This also works to your advantage because if you get a Daruis drop, hopefully you can get a Mundo too, and then you can also get a Shaco. So you have 3 Syndicate, 2 Bruiser, 2 Slayer. This board is actually very powerful as well. And then when you hit level 5, then you throw in a +1 rapid fire, like Kog'Maw. And then from here, we can play the actual board, which would be to have a Skarner at level 6, put him on the board, and instead of a Mundo, it would be a Braum to transfer the tank item to Daruis, and then you throw in a Gragas. If you cannot find Braum, just use Shaco until then, so you can have at least 3 Syndicate on the board. But this would be like the base board, and that's pretty much about it. For positioning, it'll be like this, having Kog'Maw and Twisted Fate on the same side, and whatever tanks are level 2, put them on the edge, mainly because you want the weaker tanks to stay alive a little bit longer so they could be somewhat useful later. Because if you put the weaker tanks like this, for example, say this is 2-star, this is 2-star, and these two are 1-star, these two would die immediately, and the people in the center still take somewhat damage, and your board will get wiped out quicker this way. But if you put it at the edge like this, and units are targeting these two at the edge, they will last a lot longer, and these two will take less hits and last a little bit longer to cast their abilities, because casting an ability means a lot in TFT. So this will be a big tip I can give you guys at level 6. Once you hit a TF3, then you want a fast 8 so you can throw in your base board would be Shaco and MF. And the positioning I would like to do is something like this. Put MF in the center. Unless you're going against Zed players, this is what you want to do. Position MF this way. So Zed has to choose between either going the Twisted Fate or Misfortune. Unless there's no Zed players, you can just put in the center. It's fine. And then whichever level 3 unit is your main tank, which would be either Braum or Daruis, just put the main tank item on one of them. If Braum is level 3, he's a better unit. Just make him the main tank and transfer all the items to him. And put the Syndicate Kingpin hat on him with Twisted Fate. If for whatever reason you have a Syndicate emblem, you can throw on your other tank, like for example Skarner or Gragas, either one's fine. Just take out Shaco and then you throw in an Aurora. If you have this setup, at level 9, you can throw in a Garen and just turn people into Syndicates, or you can turn TF into a Dynamo, so you can keep casting his ability over and over. This comp is actually really simple, and that's basically about it. There's not really much other tips I can give. Just play your strongest board, and hopefully you guys can win. Oh, another thing before I forget, I did mention earlier that if you have a Vanguard emblem, for example, if you don't have Braum 3 yet, you can make him into a main tank and just play Rost instead, so you can have 4 Vanguard on the board, and then at level 8, this will be your board instead. So this will be a stronger version of playing it because you have 4 strong tanks in the front line. Instead of Ross, you can do maybe a Leona. This is fine as well. Just whatever you can hit. Another big thing I could say is if you have 7 Syndicate, you basically just win the game at that point. It's either like top 2 guaranteed or first place. For the augments, you want to auto click right away, meaning that if you see it, just take it. Is the 2 Syndicate augments. Keep your friend close. This augment kind of has a disadvantage where it forces your TF to position in the way because you have to put 2 units next to him, which would look something like this where you have to position TF like this. The issue is if you're going against a Sejuani, like that's like in the center, she will hit the TF and he will get stunned. So this augment does have a disadvantage, but it gives you a lot of power for TF. And Dummy with the Gun is also a very good augment because it gives you technically a +1 totem, and it also does damage if you activate the Syndicate trait. To guarantee 3-star TF, and Darius, Starry Night is very powerful for that. Since TF is an attack speed champion, pumping up and anger issues are very powerful for him. If you want to guarantee your Gwynsu's Rage Blade, Component Buffet is the way to go. All that Shimmers allows you to get the Gambler's Blade, which is one of TF's most powerful items to get. Or if you want to have a tank item, you can also do Mogomel for Darius. Big Grab Bag allows you to like get more item components so you can BIS your TF easier. If you want to guarantee 3-star TF, Hero Grab Bag or Raining Gold is the way to go. Good combat augments for TF would be like Clock Accelerator, Blazing Soul for attack speed, or if you want a defensive one, Nova Sacrifice helps you to make your tank a little bit bulkier so it lasts a little bit longer. The augment prior order I like to do most of the time is to have an item first, or any of the Syndicate trait ones is fine. After that, it'll be Econ and then combat augment. The best playstyle to play this combo would be a high tempo fast 6, meaning win streaking to level 6. Loose streaking I feel like is not worth to do on TF because TF needs to balance back, and you probably lose a lot of HP along the way playing him, because it'll take time to hit level 8 to cap his board. So I would say win streak would be the best way to do it, and to do that is at stage 2-1, you hit level 4, and just make the strongest board you can. At stage 2-3, always make intervals of 10 gold, like 10, 20, 30 gold. If you have more than around like 14 gold, 24 gold, 34 gold, pre-level to 5, it'll look something like this. The reason why, because you have a higher chance to find more TFs this way when you come back from carousel. If not, you can skip this part, and then just hit level 5 anyways after carousel on stage 2-4, and then on any point given in the stage, like stage 2-5 or 2-6, make 20, 30, 40 gold, make intervals of 10 again so you don't be poor. At stage 3-2, hit level 6 and then roll for your board. Once you hit a 3-star TF, just fast level to 8 and then complete your board. Even if you don't have Daruis 3-star, it's fine, because you can probably potentially just stay level 8 and then roll for a Braum 3 instead for a better tank, or you could just fast 9 from that point, depending on how strong you are. And that's it for one of the most strongest reroll comp in the current meta, which is Twisted Fate reroll. If you have any questions about this comp, just let me know in the comment section down below. I'll try to answer to the best of my capabilities. Until then, I'll see you guys on the next one. Later.